Hey guys, this is Ray, owner of Double R Diesel. Welcome back to the channel and the shop. And today I'm doing a follow-up video on my recent video in which I made my plea to Trump about doing something about the current emission standards and enforcement of those emission standards in relations to the automotive performance industry, particularly the diesel performance industry. So, um, just want to jump right into it. I did a video, I made a plea to Trump, and I basically pleaded my case as to why I thought things were kind of silly the way they were as far as enforcements and punishment and that sort of thing. And I know a lot of you guys watched the video, made some very good comments, positive and negative. I know some guys made some negative comments basically saying I was wasting my time, Trump didn't care, the administration didn't care, yada, yada, yada. Well, uh, I'm not wasting my time, and that's why I'm doing another video, because unless we make our petitions known, then nothing will ever be done. Have I heard back directly from the government as to where anybody there saw my video and actually, give it any consideration? No. But I want to let you guys know that there are things going on right now in Washington, D.C., and there are changes happening. So that's why I'm doing another video, and I'm going to make my case yet again. So let me tell you what I do know. So I have been in contact with an individual who is been charged criminally for doing diesel emissions delete. I'm not going to give the name or location, but me and this person have talked, and this person has told me about things going on up in DC. So, to try to summarize what I do know, there are presently at this time legal teams in Washington, D.C. right now who are meeting with lawyers and representatives from the Department of Justice and the Environmental Protection Agency. And right now, what is being argued and successfully argued, I might add, is criminal enforcement of diesel delete cases. So you've heard about Troy Lake getting pardoned. You've heard about some other people who have had their cases dropped. What has happened, more and more people are getting on that bandwagon. They're contacting attorneys and legal teams, and they're trying to get represented directly in Washington, D.C., and make their individual cases known. And those individual cases are being heard, and things are being done about it. So I can tell you for a fact that more criminal cases currently under investigation will be dropped. Now, I'll tell you what I don't know is, will they be dropped completely, or will it just be a change from felony charges to misdemeanor charges, or would it be brought all the way down to just civil cases? I don't know. But I'll tell you what I do know is a fact. I do know from this individual that I talked to, his particular case has been told to him through his legal team that his criminal case most likely will be dismissed. What is not clear is whether it will be reduced to a misdemeanor case, which is still a form of criminal charges. So let me back up a second. The original criminal case was building toward a felony plea agreement, okay? But his legal team is telling him that that will not be the case. It will be not run as a felony case. So would it be brought back to a misdemeanor case, or would it be brought back to civil charges, or will it be dropped altogether? I will tell you that he's fighting for it to be dropped altogether, and I hope he wins, because if we can get these cases brought all the way back from felony charges to being dropped completely, that would set a tremendous precedence for other cases to be dismissed, records to be expunged, that sort of thing. That's what I would like to see in my own case, and I know other people out in the industry would love to see that as well. First of all, if you've been charged with a felony or potentially going to be charged with a felony for offering diesel deletes, that's stupid. Okay? And I'll tell you why in just a few more minutes. But it's stupid. People should not be charged with felonies for diesel deletes. Whether they should be charged as misdemeanors, which is still a criminal action, no. I don't agree with that either. Should we be charged with civil cases? That's up for debate, but for me personally, I'd love to see it dismissed altogether as well because I was charged civilly and I had to pay a fine. So if you don't know the difference between felony charges, misdemeanor charges, and civil charges in cases like this when it comes to admissions violations, felonies and misdemeanors are criminal charges. They have they put a long lasting mark on your record. They have community service punishment. They have potential jail time punishment and obviously fines on top of all that. Felonies are the worst because it leaves a permanent mark on your record. You can serve time, you can pay your fines, but you will be labeled as a felon unless you get a pardon from the President of the United States the rest of your life. If it's a misdemeanor, you still could serve jail time. You still could have to pay fines. You still may have to do community service, but your criminal record could possibly be expunged at some point and there'll be no more mark left on your life. Civil cases, generally just no potential jail time, no community service, just matter of being charged and paying a fine for what you did wrong, which was my case. Regardless, I'd love to see everybody's drop completely, whether it's felony, misdemeanor, or civil. Why do I say that? Well, here is my plea to Donald Trump and his administration once again. So, this whole thing is about contaminating the air that we breathe, right? Well, what if I told you? Now, I don't have the evidence to show in this video right now, but it will come in a later video at the appropriate time. But what if I could tell you that I know for a fact that some trucks, I ain't speaking for all of them, but some trucks actually run cleaner after the emission systems are removed and they are properly tuned? Would you believe that? Well, I can tell you about an example of, I'm not going to name the company, but a tuning software company actually had some testing done many years ago on a 1012 model truck, tested it in an independent laboratory under sophisticated equipment, analyzing the exhaust, non-deleted versus deleted with a tune. The truck deleted with the tune actually produced less harmful pollutants. Believe that. Okay? Another truck, me personally, I tuned a 2016 truck in a state that had smog testing, tailpipe sniffer testing. The owner done his delete because the emission systems were starting to become problematic. Prior to that, he always had to go in for a smog test. He always passed, but he got a readout of what was coming out of his tailpipe. After he deleted his truck, he went in for yet another smog test, expecting to fail it, but going to go through it anyway because he had to have it in order to renew his registration. Well, believe it or not, when it was all said and done, he passed the smog sniff test in his state, and the readout showed that his truck made less pollutants than it did when it was bone stock with factory tune and all the emission stuff still in place. So there you go. I know there's some things that are definitely arguable. I know that does not cover everything that could possibly come from a emissions ready truck versus one that's not emissions ready, but it is a valid argument. And it is proof that this whole emission stuff on diesel trucks outside of the black smoke. Now we can't deny the black smoke, but when I say a properly tuned deleted truck doesn't smoke, okay? Properly tuned deleted truck is not hurting the environment. It's like Corey Willis said, this whole thing is about money and the government not being able to get money off deleted trucks during that process. They're missing out on what Corey Willis calls climate taxes. And I agree with that statement because that's what it's all about. It's about tax money. It's about penalty money collected by the government. That's all it is, just a big old money thing. Donald Trump, it's all a farce. You've got some people in your own administration that probably are telling you that this whole emissions deal on particularly diesels is bogus, that properly tuned trucks don't need all this junk on them to actually run cleaner without it on them. And people like myself and many others don't need to have civil, misdemeanor, or criminal charges laying over their heads. We need to be able to continue doing what we need to do for our customers so that their trucks run reliable and run reliably at a cost-effective standpoint, okay? I've made my case before. We need legalized deletes under certain circumstances. When these trucks get old and problematic and the warranty doesn't cover this junk on them no more and it's a burden on the customer or the fleet owner or whatever, we need the legal avenue to be able to remove those systems and have these trucks tuned properly so they're not blowing black smoke, but not being problems for customers and truck owners as well. So, there again, I'll bring up another argument. Matter of fact, I'll give this example. I've had many customers, prior customers and new customers, come to me still looking for a delete, okay? These customers have legitimate needs to remove the emission systems. They're problematic. DEF systems are freezing up. DPFs are clogging up. NOx sensors are failing. All this stuff's extremely expensive to replace. Warranty won't cover it, or parts are not available. Therefore, they're going to delete their truck. They come to me and say, Ray, will you help me delete my truck? I know you can't get me everything, but at least will you write me a tune for it, because I know you got good service and good tunes. And I have to tell them no, because my hands are tied. Government watches me. I've signed a consent agreement. I've got all that hanging over my head, so I can't help them. But the next thing they tell me, man, I'm so sorry. I wish that you could, but I'm going to go somewhere else. So the bottom line is, despite what the government has done and continues to do, they are not stopping people from deleting their trucks. They cannot police it all the way down to the consumer level. They know that. Therefore, they're not doing anything about it, which I'm glad. Don't get me wrong. I think everybody should be able to delete their trucks. But the government, what they've done, has done zero to stop people from deleting their trucks. And what are they doing? They're sourcing their tunes, their parts, their software for deletes out of Canada and China, maybe a few other countries. So what are we doing? Zero on the climate change thing, and we're actually sending tax dollars, our American money, overseas across the border to other countries and hurting hardworking, small mom and pops American businesses. That's what our government is doing. And it's time for the government to recognize this and stop all this stupid mess. And that is my plea once again to Donald Trump and his administration. Do something. Do something. Make it so that guys can delete their trucks when this stuff becomes a problem and not have to worry. Make it so that shop owners like me can provide those services and not have to worry about being in trouble. Let's just use some common sense and actually use some real science behind this thing, okay? It's time to do something. Why am I doing this video again? Because I know there's talks going on in Washington, D.C. The winds are blowing. I'm just trying to fan the flames of the fires that are started up there. Yes, I'm just one little small person, but if we all banded together and we all made enough noise, we all complained enough, then something could be done. So, guys, if you watch this video, share it once again to the White House, the EPA, anybody in the federal government that could get wind and do something about this. Share it. There's a good possibility they saw my first video. It's a good possibility they didn't. But the more noise we make, the likelihood something will be seen and done, and something will be done about it. So share my video. Tell people about it. Just get the word out. It's time to make a stand. It's time to do something about this. And I believe we can make a difference if everybody gets together and makes their petitions known. As always, guys, once again, I thank you for the support. It means so much to me to see so many positive, supporting comments. I greatly appreciate it. It's hope for all of us. Anyways, thank you again. God bless you, and we'll see you again real soon.